Greetings, Ian from RTO here. Welcome to Monday and cracking start to the week. First album ranking of the week is Sweden's very own Europe. Now, Europe. Everyone knows Europe for the Final Countdown. But there's more to Europe than one album, and they are a really good rock band. I've seen them. I saw them in the 80s. Even though it was their commercial time, some of the earlier tracks were brilliant, and that's when I started going back in the catalogue, because at the time I'd only got the Final Countdown and Out of This World, which is the tour I saw them on. So then I started going backwards, and then I sort of brought the next one, and then obviously they went on Hiatus, whatever you want to call it. Come back in 2004, and they've been going. They were formed in Sweden in 1979 by Joey Tempest and John Norum. There was a bassist called Pete Olsen and a drummer called Tony Reno. Then they a couple left. John Levin come in, Mick McKaylee came in, and drummer Iain Horgland. I've had one more guitarist, but there's been a pretty classic lineup has been solid. They've released 11 albums over their career, so we'll have a look at these. And 6 of these came after their reunion. So here we go then. Coming in at number 11, we go to the 4th album, released in August 88. Out of This World. This was the first album that featured guitarist Key Marcello, who replaced John Norum. So the band was Joey Tempest on the vocals, Key Marcello on guitar, John Levin on bass, Mick McKaylee on keyboards, and Iain Horgland on the drums. First track is Superstitious. This is a good track. It's probably one of the better tracks on the album. Got some great guitar work in it. Nice singing from Joey, a good track. Let the Good Times Rock. It's a bit plastic. Some great keyboards from McKelly. That's all I can say about that one. Open Your Heart. I love this song, but not this version. It's a song off their second album, which we'll talk about a bit later. This is too commercial. This is too 80s. This is just not very good. More Than Meets the Eye. It's more of that 80s generic rock, I'm afraid. There's nothing for me. Coast to Coast. The only good thing about this song is the keyboards at the beginning from Mick McKaylee. I don't know how he pronounces his name. Then we get the best song on the album, Ready or Not. Really good rocker. When I saw them, they opened up with this, and it actually sounds a lot better live, this track. It's got more guts to it. Really good track. Sign of the Times, more of that 80s dribble rock that I'm not very impressed with. Just the beginning. Apart from the horrible keyboard sound from the 80s, which I just detest, the guitar work from Marcella is great. Never Say Die. Like the keyboards in this, but that's the only thing I can say about it. Light and Shadows isn't too bad. I can live with that one. Towers Calling. Some nice guitar work on this, but it's just very cheesy. Lots of oh yeah, ooh, ah, and all that. I don't like that. And then Tomorrow is just a typical 80s ballad. Apart from a couple of tracks on this is just very 80s commercial rock, and everybody loved it, of course. It brought in the non-rock fans, but to me, it is probably that it is the weakest album they ever put. I mean, the only good thing about it, I've actually got it on red vinyl, limited edition red vinyl. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 3 out of 10. So coming in at number 10, then we have the third album released in 1986. It was the first album that featured Mick McKaylee and drummer Iain Horgland, and it was the last to feature John Norum till 2004. It's the final countdown. So we've got Joey Tempest, John Norum, John Levin, Mick McKaylee and Iain Horgland. This is the classic lineup of Europe. First track is the final countdown. Now I remember hearing this track long before it was big, and I thought, wow, this is good. I love the keyboards, love the drums. John Norum's guitar solo is exceptional. It's probably the best track on this album, without a doubt, but of course now it's overplayed, too much overkill. It's on every compilation rock album going to Man, Woman, Beast. It's one of them tracks, if I don't hear it again I won't get upset, but I do think it's a good track. So I sort of, it's a bit of a guilty track, to be quite honest. Second track, Rock the Night, solid, great guitar work from John Norum, quite heavy in places, and another great guitar solo from John Norum. Okay, then we get Carrie. Oof, this is the worst song ever by Europe. I can't stand it. I just, when they play it live or when I saw it, oh no, not this rubbish. There's a lot of people in the crowd are doing the same, going, oh god, get on with it. Danger on the track, it isn't too bad. It's got that 80s overproduction, but I do love the Hammond organ solo in it. It's pretty good. Ninja, that's a bit of a mediocre sort of 80s dribble. Cherokee, Iain Horgland's drumming on this is really good, and it's got a good guitar solo. Time Has Come, that's alright, I suppose. Heart of Stone, nice guitar work here from John Norum, but what spoils this track is that horrible 80s keyboard sound that does not belong on a rock record. On the Loose, typical generic rock track, but what is good about it is John Norum's guitar solo. Love Chaser, to end the album, nice keyboard at the beginning, some great work from John on the guitars again. It's not too bad. Okay, this is the album is a little bit better than Out of This World. It's the album that made them really big. There are still some tracks on there I just don't like, but I like more tracks on this than Out of This World, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 9, we have the fifth album, released in 1991, Prisoners in Paradise. This is the Joey Tempest key Marcello. It'll be the last time he's on an album. John Levin, Mick McKaylee, Iain Horgland, and this is the last album before 2004. First track on this album is All or Nothing. I like this quite a lot. It's heavy in places. Great bass line from John Levin. Some good guitar work from Key Marcello. It's not a bad track at all. Halfway to Heaven. Nice riffs. It's a little bit more heavy. They're starting to lose this commercial sound, which was nice. It's a decent rock track. I'll Cry For You. Having said that, we've still got this 80s sort of sound still. It's a bit commercial. It's a bit past the bucket round. A little bit of Lovin', solid track, good rocker. Some great guitar riffs on that one, and a great vocal from Joey Tempest. Talk to Me, really good track again. great guitar solo from Key Marcello. Seventh Sign, nice riffs again, good drumming, strong drumming. Again, some good vocals from Joey. Prisoners of in Paradise, still got that 80s filter on this. Bad Blood's okay, it's not top draw though. Homeland, one of the better power ballads from Europe, and I don't mind that one at all. Got Your Own Mind, In the Gutter. This one isn't too bad, some strong riffs, some really good riffs in this, pretty cool. Till My Heart Beats Down Your Door, again, a lot of rubbish. Sorry guys, don't like that one. And then my favourite track, always has been on this album, Girl from Lebanon. It's got some really strong riffs. I love the keyboards in this. It's a terrific track. Okay, not a bad album. It's starting to lose that generic rock sound. It's a little bit heavier, so this isn't a bad album to listen to. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 8, the self-titled debut album Europe, released in 1983. This has got Joey Tempest, John Norum, John Lemon, and on the drums we have Tony Reno. First track in here is called In the Future to Come. Nice little rocker. Great track. I love that track. It is so, it's not heavy, it's heavy, but it's quite melodic. Good track. Farewell, another of them good early Europe tracks. Check these tracks out, they are really good. Then we get my favourite track off this album, Seven Doors Hotel. I love this. It's still played now live. That's how good it is. It's a really good strong track. Great guitar work from John Norum as ever. The King Will Return, solid track, good rocker. Then we got Boys Are Not, which is an instrumental. Great work by John Norum on it. He is a terrific guitar player. Really like that track. Children of This Time. This reminds me of that at the same time, Magnum, when they were in the 80s, early 80s. It's got that style to it and I really like it. Really good track. Words of Wisdom. It's got quite a Celtic start and then goes into a really good slow rock track. Super track. Paradise Bay. Phenomenal work here from John Norum. Absolutely killing the riffs and the licks. Awesome. Memories, great drumming from Tony Reno. That double bass drum sounds fantastic on this, and it's accompanied by John Levin's bass line. This is quite an underrated album. It's great in places, really heavy. If you've not listened to this, go and check it out. It is a strong album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay then, coming in at number 7, we go to the second album, released in 1984, Wings of Tomorrow. It's the last album to feature Tony Reno, but Joey, John Levin and John Norum are on the band as well. Sorry. Stormwind opens this album up. Great track. Great rocker, great bass line from John Levin, excellent vocals from Joey, good track. Scream of Anger, right, it's got a bit of a story this one was originally titled Black Journey Through My Soul. Unfortunately, drummer Tony Reno was replaced by a drum machine because he couldn't keep time or play to a click. This is why. Hence why I think Tony Reno was said bye. But you can't tell the drumming is a drum machine. It's fast, it's heavy, great bass and guitar riffs, excellent track. Then we get Open Your Heart. I love this song and I love this version. It's more raw. It's not the version on Out of This World is too jazzy, too clean, too 80s, rubbish. But this is brilliant. Great track. Favourite on the album. Treated Bad Again. Love the nice guitar work at the beginning of this, and then it's an absolutely belting track. Aphasia is another instrumental. Love this again. John Norum is just a phenomenal guitar player. Wings of Tomorrow, the title track, solid track, good rocker, good rocker. Just like Wasted Time, solid, nice track. Lion Eyes, awesome, just strong rock. Dreamer, this is the first of that commercial sounding rock, I'm afraid, and I'm not particularly keen on this. But then we get back to the last track, and Dance the Night Away, heavy as a light, great guitar work from John Norum, brilliant track. This is a very good, strong album. Again, hard and heavy. It's just a shame they went a little bit too commercial on the next two albums, but they just wanted to be famous and crack America, but don't take it away from this. This is a good album, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So, coming at number 6, it's the 6th album, released in 2004, Start from the Dark. First album since 1991, and it's also the return of the brilliant John Norum on guitar. So all the albums from now on are Joey Tempest, John Norum, John Levin, Mikael McKiley and Ian Haglund. So you don't have to mention any of the other who's on the albums, because this is the start of the new era for Europe. So the first track on this album is Got to Have Faith. When I first heard this, I went, wow, that total commercial sound has gone. This is just proper rock. It's a great track, great riffs from John Norum, great to see him back in the band. It's an excellent track. Then we get Start from the Dark. It's a bit slower, but it's got a heavy riff from John Norum. Unbelievable track. Flames. Love the John Levin bass line on this, solid track. Hero. It's a bit of a power ballad, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's nice guitar solo in this, awesome stuff. Wake Up Cool. It's not lost that commercial sound completely. It's a bit radio friendly, but it's got some nice riffs and a great vocal from Joey. Reason, another great bass line from John Levin. Good bass player, solid. Song number 12, great track. John Norum and John Levin, awesome on this, play well together, great interplay. Roll With You, bit of a slower one. I love the piano for Mikael McKiley, really good, really nice track. Sucker, love this track again. I just love the riffs. There's loads of good riffs on this album. Spirit of the Underdog, another solid track from this album. Then we get America, my favourite track. I just love the guitar solo on this. It is absolutely brilliant. Again, Ian Haglund's drumming on here is just superb. Settled for Love, nice semi-acoustic number here. Very decent track. Good way to end the album. What a return for Europe. Excuse me. Gone as that 80s sound. One of those, this is the 2000s. It's more heavier. It's got more of a blues feel to it. It's a very solid album. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. Oh dear, I've got the coughs this morning. So coming in at number 5, we go to the 7th album, released in 2006, Secret Society. First track on here is the title track, Secret Society. Nice little rocker to start the album. Lots of energy, good rocker. Always the Pretenders. Great vocal from Joey Tempest. It's solid track, nice bass line from John as usual. Awesome stuff. The Getaway Plan, my favourite track on here. Starts just, that's the opening riff and it's hooked. Great stuff. Wish I Could Believe, it's okay. Then we get Let the Children Play. Great riffs as usual from John Norum. It's heavy in places. John Levin's guitar work is good as well. After All Human, solid stuff. Just a good solid rock track. Love Is Not the Enemy, another heavy track. Really strong stuff, good stuff. Mother Son, a little bit of a slow rocker here, but it's got some of them great power riffs. Awesome. Forever Travelling, pretty solid. Again, there's not a bad track on this album, really. Although, you know, there's a few weaker ones, but they're all good production. Brave and Beautiful Soul, solid. And Devil Sings the Blues, great stuff, great vocal. Another strong album. They're really solid. I love this new sound in Europe. It's taken from them first two albums and they've gone back to basics but give it that modern feel to it, and it's bluesy. It is a great album and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.8. Okay, we're coming into the top four. Now this was very hard because all four of these albums could be number one at any time. I just love these four albums. They're the ones they're my go-to Europe albums. They are just brilliant. So coming in at number 4, 8th album, released in 2009, Last Look at Eden. Joining the band on this though, we have got backing vocals from Tiararo, Clearer, Andres Carlson, and Magnus Solchar doing some percussion, and we've got the Czech National Symphony Orchestra on this as well. This album is a rock symphony sort of album, a little bit of a concept, I think. It is just an awesome album. Starts up with this prelude, it's an orchestral start, leads into the tracks, goes straight into the title track, Last Look at Eden. Oh, this is awesome. The sound is rich, the orchestra really adds to that track. Awesome stuff. Gonna Get Ready, probably one of the weaker tracks, but what makes it good is the strings. Catch That Plane, love the start of this. The guitar sounds, it's like you're listening to on the radio and then it bursts in with a great riff, great track. New Love in Town, pretty solid track, but what adds to this is that orchestral arrangement. Gives it that extra depth, that extra layer of sound. Great guitar solo on this, it's just a phenomenal track. The Beast, more heavy riffs from John Norum. This is a true rocker. Mojito Girl, again, what adds to this track is the orchestral arrangements on it. No Stone Unturned, again, they have a little blip here, they go back to that 80s ballad, but what makes it not so cheesy is the orchestra arrangement. Pretty good. Then we get You Only Young Twice, my favourite track on this album, one of my favourite tracks by Europe. It's got that strong riff. It reminds me of Deep Purple, that Hammond organ. It's really good. Devil You Know again. John Levin's bass line. Don't know, it's just an awesome sound he gets out of it. Really hard and heavy. Run with the Angels, again, great track. Terrific bass line from John Levin. Awesome. Then the last track is It's My Time. It's a ballad with a nice string arrangement. Fantastic track. This is truly a great album. It could be #1 next week. You just don't know with these. This band, these 4 albums just blow me away every time. This is proper Europe, and if you've not heard these albums, you must check them out. Forget Final Countdown. This is the real good sound of Europe. So I'm going to give this album an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Coming in at number 3 then, we have the 11th most current album, released in 2017, Walk the Earth. Again, solid album. First track is the title track, Walk the Earth. Great keyboard intro. It's on the Hammond. It's got that very 70s rock sound. It's a fantastic track. The Siege. Brilliant riffs from John. Great vocals from Joey. Band are on form with this. Kingdom United. Solid track. Both Johns brilliant. Good track. Pictures. This is quite pleasant. It's a more gentle track, but it's pretty good. Election Day. Iain Horgland's drumming on this is solid. He is a good drummer. Very underrated, like the band are. They are very underrated these days. Then we get Wolves. Love this. Nice vocals from Joey. Strong voice. You know, all these years he still can sing, and he doesn't struggle, which is good to hear. Then we get GTO, strong track. I think Europe are like a wine. They get better with age. Hayes, great track, great guitar solo. Whenever You're Ready, solid stuff. Great rocker. Turn to Dust is a slow ballad. Great vocal from Joey, and a sublime guitar solo from John Norum. Love every track off this album. I think these are the best albums from this band, as I keep saying, and they get better and better. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.3. Okay, coming in number 2, we have the 9th album, released in 2012, Bag of Bones. Opens up with Riches to Rags. Great solo from the off. John Norum at his best. Not Supposed to Sing Blues. Great heavy riffs in this. Awesome. Firebox. Love the backing vocals on this. Some great harmonies. Some of the best drumming from Iain Horgland on that. Bag of Bones, the title track, my favourite track. It's my favourite slow track. I love John Norum's guitar. Bass line just fits this song really well. Requiem is just an intro to the next track, got with Michaeli on the keyboards. Woman to My Friend. Again, this has just got some great guitar work from John Norum. Such an underrated player. Demon Head. Joey's on fire on this. Absolute belting vocal. Drink and Smile. I like the acoustic guitars on this. Pretty good. Doghouse. A great rocker from that opening riff again. Great song. Mercy You, Mercy Me. Solid track. Great drumming. I love that richness of the drums on this. Let me get Bring It All Home. Probably the weakest track on the album. It's an okay track. Bit of a filler. Again, another strong album. I can't rate this album enough. I'll give it an RTO ranking of 9.4. So my number 1. It's the 10th album, released in 2015, War of Kings. Opens up with the title track, War of Kings. Love the start to this. oh, blows you away. And then when Joey comes in singing, absolutely brilliant performance, awesome stuff. Hole in My Pocket, lots of wah wah on this. There's only one other guy that I love doing wah wah, and that's Mick Box. But Mr. Norum is as good, awesome stuff. The Second Day, very 70s track this is, but heavy. Great drumming again from Iain Orgland. Praise You, more ripping riffs, absolute dynamite track. Nothing to Ya, great little track, got a great hook, and the interplay again between the two Johns is just mighty. California 405, again this reminds me of Deep Purple. I think that they're very influenced by Deep Purple and Uriah Heep. It's probably why it's my favourite track on the album, because that deep Hammond organ from Michele reminds me so much of the mighty John Lord. Days of Rock and Roll, such a catchy hook. It's more radio friendly, but it's such a great track. Children of the Mind, great bass line again. It just really gels this track together. Rainbow Bridge, this has got an interesting keyboard style, a little bit mystique, but again adds to the track. Angels, bluesy number, awesome. Reminds me of Gary Moore, without a doubt. Terrific. And Michele is great on the Hammond organ again. Light Me Up, again probably the weakest song on the album, but it's still a reasonable song. As I said, not a bad track on here. Probably got some of the finest performances of the whole band. They really came to do this album. They were at the top of their game. It's magnificent stuff. Joey Tempest's finest performance with the band, without a doubt. Excellent album. I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9.5. Okay, I've put some really good tracks, I hope, in the playlist today. But go and check them first two albums out. And if you've not heard any of their albums and you think because of Final Countdown, believe you me, this band are brilliant. They are so much better now than they were in the 80s. There's quite a few bands like that sound really good still. I mean, Uriah Heep, we'll be doing them on Wednesday. I think they're two bands that are really solid now and making their best music. Bit like Magnum as well. Strong albums. Okay, that's all for this one. The next one today is Classic Album, and we're going to go a little bit 80s, very 80s. An album that was sold all over the world. It's got some good tracks on. We only know really 3, but when you go into the deeper tracks, they are really great sound. And when you hear who plays on them, you can understand why. We're talking about Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Not one of my favourite bands ever, but I do appreciate what Trevor Horn done. So we'll be looking at that album. Hope you'll join me for that one, and I'll see you later. Take care for now.